I'm a Pitbull, and I approve this message. Hello, good morning. It's morning in Southern California. It's afternoon in New York City and in Australia and Germany and other places. It's who knows what time. Hey, I'm Foster Corder, and welcome to another Conversations with a Pitbull Live. I'm joined with...
Hey, what's happening, Dan? Listen in the house. Just chilling.
All right, so... welcome. Glad you tuned in. Hey, YouTube, subscribe. Keep us on the air. We need like 10,000 subscribers in order to, officially be making a noise and keep us on the air so we can keep giving you this, show. Man, it's been a tough week on me. Yeah, everybody who probably sent me messages and all that kind of stuff. Once again, I apologize. Yeah, we had my 85-year-old aunt had a stroke.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and we were in the hospital with a 7-hour bypass, man. So I'm like burnt and on top of everything else. So it's just been that kind of month. Breeder X, hope you signed a petition. If you didn't, go do it. Hey, let's welcome Cheryl on the phone. And also, we have our guest calling in from, I think it's Richmond, Virginia. Denise I blew that.
Hartbarger.
Hey, there she is. How are you, Denise?
I'm good.
Good. Cheryl, you there?
I'm here.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good. Sorry to hear about your aunt. Hope all is going well, and I'm excited to see what we're going to talk about on the show today.
All right. Well, me too. How's the weather up there in Portland?
Well, it's been up and down. We've had spring-like weather for the last month, and then it rained like the daylights for the last few days. Yesterday it was beautiful in the low 70s, and then this weekend it's supposed to rain, and of course we have a bully walk scheduled for Sunday, so we're kind of keeping our fingers crossed that the rain skips us on Sunday.
Yeah, well, it'll be a wet walk, that's all. It's Portland,
yeah.
So it'll probably rain. What's happening with you, Doc?
Man, just moving, cleaning out my dad's house finally and getting all that stuff taken care of. It's I'm sure Paula knows my struggles.
Yeah.
But we're actually taking over control of my dad's dogs. So, I'm taking them to the vet, making sure they get all their shots and make sure they're up to speed because he's kind of old school dude that just like, hey man, give him food, keep him in a big backyard and love him or whatever. But he wasn't really like he loved dogs, but he wasn't like. Into like all the stuff that's required to make them have a full life. So, just doing that. So we had to find like a new house so that we could take over ownership of them. And you know how it is. Like I'm starting to run into some of those like, we can't insure you. What kind of dogs are they?
Right.
Like, it's like
Pitbull,
all the stuff. They're they're American bulldogs. So.
Yeah.
They get a little bit of a break, when
exactly.
you can kind of show their paperwork and stuff like that, but it's still kind of like, so you got to find cats that are, not completely idiots that'll say, hey, you guys are nice people, you guys got, decent cheese and the dogs are nice. Let me meet them and stuff. And so that's what I've been up to, is just moving and whatnot. So
yeah, well, that's good. That's good. Denise.
Yeah.
How's the weather in Virginia?
It is getting warm. We've had a lot of snow, so it's getting warm now.
Oh, great. So let's get right into it with you, Denise, and tell us about your organization. Tell us what you do.
Before I had children, I have a 12-year-old daughter, but I decided that I wanted to own a boxer, and I got my first boxer probably maybe 17 years ago. Mm-hmm. And after I got her, I decided to join our local chapter dog club here it's in Petersburg, Virginia. It was Appomattox River Club. Mm-hmm. And I decided I wanted to breed. So I had some really good breeders that were in the club, and I waited like one whole year doing dog club activities. We did confirmation, dog shows, obedience, socialization, and we put on little dog shows. And I was sponsored to the National Breeders Guide, and I started breeding. I think I had probably 5 or 6 litters. And it's an ordeal. It is. But I loved the breed. I respected the breed, and I wanted to improve some of the things that I thought would get better if I bred to, and had better puppies than what I had. So it was a learning process. Right.
So you were licensed and all of that stuff that, the breeders, because I know that's a subject, a touchy subject with Cheryl, right? Cheryl?
Oh, breeders? No, not a touchy subject with me. I'm one of the ones that gets beat over the head by a lot of people in the animal welfare community when I say that instead of condemning breeders for breeding dogs, we need to reach out to them for help in everything we do, because I think they could be much better allies than they'll ever be enemies.
That's right.
Exactly.
That's right. So I heard you rescued a couple of dogs, Denise.
Yeah, I decided that both of my dogs died, and I wanted to get another boxer. And I decided, I've kind of put 50 or 60 puppies out there in the world. Maybe I should rescue first. Mm-hmm. And I've never rescued before, never really particularly liked the breed of a Pitbull. I really didn't. Probably my opinion was formed before my experience with them was.
Yeah, you're the one.
Yeah. And my mom...
The only one.
My mom died, and me and my daughter were kind of left. And my daughter is mildly autistic, and she was very close to my mom. And I just thought, we need to get a puppy for her. She's really struggling. And I just went online. I saw this post by Regina, and I drove out there to get one of her puppies. And my daughter bonded with her very quickly. I went back the next weekend to get her after we arranged all the paperwork, and she also had another older male that I don't know why I took him. I just decided I'd take him too, and he's been the love of my life.
What's his name?
Boo Boo.
Boo Boo. Boo Boo.
Yes, he is just stepped right in and been like my best friend.
I had a couple of boo-boos, in life.
Well, one of the things I wanted to ask was last week we were talking, remember we had that picture of that dog, Hulk, that was getting bred by, I forgot, I think what the kennel was up in New Hampshire or whatever. But Denise, I don't know if you saw that story like about this dog named Hulk. It was like a 180-pound pit bull that they bred up in New Hampshire, and I saw this picture, like of the the lady like who was the owner, and heard from like the breeders and stuff, and it got me to thinking like, oh well, this is kind of like an extreme case of like breeding, like how people decide to breed animals. When you get to hear from the breeder himself, and you hear him talk about how much he loves the animals and how much he, what type of disposition this dog has, it kind of, it throws a lot of issues up into the air as to like what is your role as a breeder, and what are some of the issues that you have to be cognizant of, and where are the lines, like where are the blurred lines at between doing stuff that's either beneficial for the breed as a whole, or for the community as a whole, or things that may be detrimental to the dog. So I was just wondering what your thoughts were about that story in particular, or people breeding dogs for, say, well, that was like for size, but some people breed dogs for competition. You know what I mean? Where they go through different types of training. What are your thoughts about those type of different breeding activities?
Well, it's just like Cheryl mentioned earlier. I'm currently not breeding, but I did a lot of research in it, and I know that what I put out there were some really fine boxers. Was it hard? Yes. First of all, the female was my baby, and here I'm thinking I'm going to breed her. So number one, I involved myself in the dog club. I involved myself with other breeders to help, and I looked at my fawn boxer. No white on her, just very fawn. She had some things that weren't great in the breed, but she was registered. So I looked at a bigger male, a little flashy, better top line, the characteristics of the breed, which any breeder would look at. How are you going to improve the breed? The temperament is the biggest thing. I had to get to know that male. I'm going to have puppies from this male. I know what that female is like. But I turned down over a year of looking for the right male that I knew had good temperament, because I knew I wanted my boxers to go to families that had children, because that's where my boxers thrived.
Yeah.
So it was a lot of like, no, give me $200 here, you can have my dog. It was a year of selecting the right one.
Yeah, well, I think that's like, especially with dealing with a lot of the rescues that we come across, and also breeders that are responsible breeders. They speak about how important it is to find the right homes for the animals that they work with, and you can tell a lot about how the dog's life is going to turn out by the people that house them or foster them and stuff. So that's good to hear, And
not only that, I keep a good breeder. You're not going to find, if you're going to purchase a puppy, if you want to go to the flea market and get him out of a box and pay $100 at 4 weeks of age, that's fine. But I kept my boxers till they were almost at 8 weeks. They had socialization, they were wormed, they had 2 sets of shots, and they were socialized. They had a lot of stuff going on for them before I would even sell them.
Yeah, Cheryl, do you guys encounter breeders like up in Portland that you guys have like issues with, or any good ones like that you guys deal with directly?
Well, I do know in Portland, I think Oregon was the first state to pass some laws about puppy mills, and I think puppy mills are a huge concern, and puppy mills are not breeders. I don't care what anybody says. I think responsible, ethical breeders, like our guest today, really care about the breed. And from what I understand, usually when they sell a dog, there's a contract signed, or at least an agreement that if anything happens for any reason that the person purchasing the dog cannot keep the dog, or something doesn't work out, they will take that dog back and make sure it gets in a good home. And I really get upset when I see people on Facebook just, we have to stop all breeding. Well, first of all, if we stop all breeding, within 20 years or less, there won't be any dogs. So that's kind of a stupid thing to say. But we do need to work together, I think, with responsible, ethical breeders to get rid of these puppy mills, because they're horrible places, and the dogs they're putting out are not good representations of the breed. And I just really think that if we could form a partnership with breeders, we could get a lot more done than just bashing them for killing dogs in shelters because there's too many dogs out there.
Right.
Yeah, that's for sure. There is a balance, and finding that balance is the issue,
It seems like it might be easier. I don't know. Are you, Denise? Are you out in the in the country at all, like in Virginia? Are you in an urban area, like?
Yeah, a lot of us, and we tag team breed. I wasn't as big as like a kennel, like a puppy mill, but we do tag team breed, and which means if I had a female that got in trouble, I stuck my boxers in with golden retrievers. Mm-hmm. And the thing about the contract, we did do that. I have life expectancy contracts on my boxers that if anything happens to that dog, I am the first person. And a lot of my boxers, unfortunately, I did it. They went, when you register them with AKC, I put them on limited registration, which means they can't breed. Mm-hmm. They can breed if they want, they can't register. I picked through them. If I felt like they weren't breedable quality, they went on just a pet only. They still got registration, but it was limited. But I did have an incident where the dog was 4 years old. He was a beautiful male. He was on full registration, and he went to Winchester, Virginia, which was quite a haul. And the lady called back and said, this dog has attacked and killed my little dog. I've had him to the vet. The vet wants to put him down. And I just want to let you know. And I said, well, no, I'm going to come get the dog. I drove to Winchester. I got the dog. He was aggressive. He actually was a little ugly with me. But I said, something is just not right. I took him to my vet. They sedated him, and he had an incarcerated testicle because they had not neutered him. And it had incarcerated and was infected up in his abdomen. Once we had him neutered, he was a different dog, and I placed him to another home.
Wow. So, Denise, how does that work exactly? Like because I know out here in Los Angeles, like you can't even license your dogs unless they're spayed and neutered. So, like, do you have does being a breeder? Well, I don't know what the laws are like out there, but like, once you become a breeder or that you're like certified or something, does that kind of absolve you from the having to have your animals spayed or neutered, like the ones that are being the breeding dogs, or how does that work?
In Chesterfield, Virginia, where I live, you could get a license for your dog, but there's not a spay or neuter if you just own the dog. If you foster or rescue a dog, it's a spay or neuter before you get it.
Okay.
When I register, I'm with AKC, I'm a breeder. So if I register that dog and there's an exchange of money and a registration, I can limit it or I can full register it. Full registration gives the new owner, according to my guidelines, they breed or they can't breed. And can't breed is limited, which means AKC puts a hold on that license and that dog cannot breed and be registered. Mm-hmm. And those limited dogs, I send out on a spay or neuter contract. So when they leave me, they have 3 months to get spayed or neutered.
Wow. So, hey.
Or I take the dog back.
Okay. So we're going to come back with more. We got to take a break and pay the bills. And then we're going to come back with Regina and actually get some dogs some homes. All right. So we'll be right back.
Hey, are you tired of those same old energy drinks with bad taste? Make a switch to Pitbull Energy Drink with a guaranteed no aftertaste. Pitbull offers more energy with ginseng and vitamins B6 and B12. With a ginger ale lemon lime flavor, Pitbull meets the consumer's demand for better tasting and healthier energy products with a guaranteed no aftertaste. Make a switch to Pitbull Energy Drink. Pitbull offers more energy with ginseng and vitamins B6 and B12. With a ginger ale lemon lime flavor, Pitbull meets the consumer's demand for better tasting and healthier energy products. For more information on Pitbull energy drinks, bars, and mixes, visit their website at hiphopbev.com. That's hiphopbev.com. Online orders available at hiphopbev.com.
Hey, all right, we're black. Hey, so before we continue with Denise, let's get some dogs some homes. Regina, you there?
Hello, yes I am. How is everyone?
Oh, wonderful. And you?
Good. Happy to be here today. Hi, Denise.
Hello.
And we got Cheryl and Danny's in here
Cheryl.
in the house. So,
Hi, Regina.
So you got a couple of dogs today?
I do. I have 8 dogs today, so I was thinking of doing 2 sets of 4. Is that okay?
hey,
Sure.
knock yourself out.
The math works
Break it
on
up
that,
a
I
little
think.
bit.
I think the math works
Yeah.
on that 2 times 4.
So let's do it.
All right. Our first dog that I'm going to show is Angie. Angie lost her loving temporary foster home, and she's currently at Empire K Academy Boarding in Blazewood, California. She's beautiful. She walks extremely well on the leash. She's house trained. She likes dogs and people, and she knows basic commands. She's about 1.5 years old and weighs 65 pounds. And she's at Blazewood, California, and the number is 909-368-9221. And she's actually in a boarding facility there. The next dog is Carly. Her ID number is A479761. She needs out by today is her day due out, and the rest of these dogs are all in urgent status. So I'm hoping that today, on Friday the 13th, it will be these dogs' lucky day to get some help. They often don't have a lot of information to share, but if you look at her picture, Carly's face speaks 1,000 words. She's about 3 years old. She's a Pitbull, and she's very friendly, but she's obviously very sad. Please call San Bernardino City Shelter in California at 909-384-1304 if you can help Carly out. The next dog is Ronan. His former name was Demon, which was named by his owner. He is an owner surrender. His ID number is A4450495. He's described as a male brown brindle American Staffordshire Terrier mix. And the shelter thinks he's about 4 years old. He's been at the shelter since February 9th. He came in with some cuts on his head and what looks like an injury to his ear. He got a nice bath. He's very sweet, and he needs some help. So please share out for at least a foster to save his life. He's at Carson Shelter, Gardenia, California, 310-523-9566. And the next dog is Eileen. Her ID number is A199088. She's a spayed, vaccinated female. She's a black and white Pitbull Terrier mix. The shelter staff thinks she's about 1 year old. She weighs about 35 pounds. And she does not have a lot of interest, and time is running out for her. So please share Eileen, even if you can't help. All of our dogs today are listed on the Breeder X support page in one with the event in one thread. So you can access all the dogs and all that information on the Breeder X support page. This dog, Eileen, is in Garland, Texas, and the number is 972-205-3570.
Ooh, all right. Hey, in addition, I want to share, there's a tweet and email and post event for 11,000 signatures to make an impact. It's at least 11,000 signatures needed on Facebook page. That's Ingrid Sears, S-E-R, event that she's having. It's also a great documentary on YouTube. It's the Off the Chain dog fighting documentary, and it's like a bunch of different parts. And that's Donna Hughes. I think she's involved in that. She sent that to me, and I was looking at it, and that's really great. So that's Off the Chain dog fighting documentary on YouTube. Check that out. So
one of the things I wanted to talk about, especially, I wish Fred was here, our legal beagle,
Fred
or whatever.
making money.
But Cheryl, I wanted to ask you about this. I don't know if you heard about this proposed law. It's that they're introducing into the. It's called House Bill 1261, and it's being called the Mississippi Regulation of Dangerous Dogs Act. And what the bill is proposed to do is it'll allow police officers to enter people's home without a warrant.
Whoa.
If there's a pit bull on the property, or if the dog is found to not be under proper restraint when on the premises of the owner, or if they're not wearing vaccination tags. you know, and it's like if the police officers attempt to peacefully capture the dog, and they were unsuccessful, they'll be allowed to kill the dog.
Oh.
And it's a House bill that's being introduced in Mississippi. You know, and obviously, like, the proponents of this are you know, they're making an attempt to try to eradicate some of the, you know, the unfortunate examples, you know, out there, people with you know, dogs that are you know, improperly trained or what have you. But you know, obviously there's a groundswell of people against these type of measures. You know what I mean? Like, just for obvious reasons. I mean, you know, the constitutional amendments that bar, like, you know, unreasonable search and seizure and whatnot. But you know, the people are also coming out and saying, you know, that one person says, like, this bill would make Mississippi the only state in the nation with a statewide policy discriminating against a specific dog breed and have a negative impact on the community, animal shelters, law enforcement. You know, it would be disastrous. You know, and I was just wondering what you guys thought about these types of legislation, if you encounter things perhaps in your area or just on the, I mean, this seems like it just seems so ridiculous at its face, but it is something that somebody introduced in the House to try to run it up the chain. So I was wondering what you thought about that, Cheryl.
Well, this is the first I've heard of it, and I was kind of looking it up on my phone on the internet while you were on talking about it. But just from what you say, it just sounds to me like it's one more attempt by a group or person to eliminate the Pitbull type breeds from existing, because there are many dangerous dogs, just not certain breeds, that they can go into your home without any kind of legal document saying that they can search that address or whatever. Just doesn't really seem to make any sense to me. It seems like we're losing our rights as human beings more and more to the law enforcement every day, and this is just one more step. But I sincerely hope that whoever's listening to this show, whether it be live now or on the archive, look up House Bill
1261.
What was it?
1261. It's called the Mississippi Regulation of Dangerous Dogs Act.
Right. Well, we need to get together with our voices and just let them know that this isn't okay, and that there are other ways to control dogs or handle dogs that are not being cared for properly, because those are the dogs that are going to be dangerous, not just dogs that happen to be a certain breed.
And it seems like, you know, like when we hear, especially like when we used to talk with Fred, he would educate us on a lot about this stuff. Yeah. But he would talk a lot about how ineffective these breed specific laws are, like in actually curtailing the civic issues that these you know, different places are having. And it would seem like any basic forum with anybody with any kind of sense would be able to knock that down in an open forum, like whether they, you know, if it's this guy's attempt, like when he has to lay out the bill for everybody and say why it should be in effect, like it seems like your basic average person, regardless of just their constitutional like grounds, would say, hey man, this is ridiculous. But how about all this this information and statistics about how ineffective these types of policies have been around the country?
Can I add something to that?
Sure, absolutely, please.
Okay, I just want to say that here in Virginia, and specifically in Hampton, when I read up on the animal laws and the ordinances, it clearly states here, because a lot of people do have dogs, you know, that are protected in the home. It clearly states that if somebody enters your home, or somebody is injured in your home or on your property as a result of coming in unexpected or with intent to do harm, your dog is not considered a dangerous dog, and it would not be, you know, it would not be a violation of any law, or the dog would not suffer any consequences as a result of protecting its ground and the owners in the home. So clearly this bill is going above and beyond our rights as people, as citizens, and our dogs are also our property. And a lot of these search and seizures, or I've heard so many stories of one recently where police were called on a false 911 call. They entered somebody's backyard in Brooklyn. There was a pregnant female pit bull who was protective, one, because she was pregnant, two, because these two people, which were police officers, happened to enter the yard unexpected, no warning or anything, to cut through to go to another place. And the dog attacked one of the police officers, and they shot her and killed the dog, and the dog was due to give birth that day. And turns out it was an accident. It was a mistake. It was a false call. They were on the wrong property. So there's just too much room for error with that type of bill.
Yeah,
opinion.
It seems so broad-reaching, and but it is an attempt. Like, somebody's trying to push this, and I don't know whether they're just trying to put their name on something and say, hey, I'm the champion of like stopping dog bites or whatever. But largely these things are very ineffective. They've shown that these breed-specific legislation doesn't work. And when you start getting into like people's constitutional rights and their dwelling and stuff, even when we had our guest with the young girl that was feeding the pit bulls and stuff like that, and you had these, they weren't cops, but they were representatives of the state or whatever.
Exactly.
They came to like the wrong address, like saying, hey, we heard that you guys have 6 pit bulls in here, and the child is in danger and all that. And it's like, man, you know what? The video that you guys are referencing wasn't even shot here. I don't even own those dogs. So, it just opens a whole can of worms for people that are already dealing with the difficulty of trying to preserve their inalienable rights. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Danny and Foster, in an effort not to get storm brewing, I actually was finally able to look up online the Mississippi Legislature 2015 regular session, and I looked under House Bill 1261, and it looks like the bill is dead. So even though it was introduced, it sounds and it seems to me that this was pretty prevalent on the internet, which I know you don't go there, Danny, several weeks ago. And everyone was getting all excited about it, and it turned out there was such a huge public outcry that Mississippi just said, no, I don't think this is a good way to go. So that's a really good thing, and that just shows the importance of saying, well, you know what? I might not be able to change it all by myself, but I can add my voice to the other voices that are saying, hey, this is something we don't want, and this is something that's not going to increase public safety. And going back to breed-specific legislation, I think the city of Aurora in Colorado has proven that breed-specific legislation does not decrease dog bites, even by a vast amount. If you look at their data for the last 20 years, they've had the breed-specific legislation there. Dog bites by pit bulls absolutely have gone down to almost to zero. Why? Because most of the pit bulls have either moved out or have been killed by the authorities. But dog bites by other breeds have remained pretty much basically the same over 20 years.
Can I add also, Denise, do you have that information? We were talking about the likelihood of a pit bull dog bite in contrast to some other things. And
they had a study, and again, I wasn't a big pit bull fan until I owned one. That's what started me on this let me get to know this breed so I can care for it. So I'm a responsible dog owner. And, even my family, like, I can't believe you fostered a pit bull. What if he bites Connor? Well, I'm more afraid of my daughter hurting my dog right now than the dog hurting Connor.
Right.
I'm like,
do you have those statistics?
But because he's a pit bull, because he's bigger, I did do some investigation, and they had a 10-year study from 2005 to 2014, and there were 203 Americans killed by pit bulls. 27 of them were children. And that I was like, that is just...
I'm talking about that. The other thing you were saying.
So then we looked, and we were at that same time frame, and they said that there were 2,000 children killed in the U.S. at that time by their parents and guardians from abuse and neglect, and that a child was 800 times more likely to be killed by their parent than a pit bull in that time frame. You also look at, I was a pediatric nurse, and we had an infant toddler, they pick and walk, and he had his finger bitten off by a Chihuahua. The Chihuahua was old and cranky, didn't like the kid. Oh, it was no big deal. But just because of its size, suppose it was that old cranky pit bull, and his bite might have took the whole hand.
I was wondering,
what Sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
I've been talking to a local reporter who contacted me several months ago, I think last October, early, because they wanted to do some sort of article, expose, informational report, or whatever in the local paper, the Oregonian, on the status of the pit bull issue in our area. And he continues to tell me, and I've just had recent communication with him because they're going to be finally publishing it this coming Sunday, probably. But he told me the other day that the statistics they got locally clearly show that more pit bulls have bitten than any other dog, and that they've talked to the experts. I haven't been able to find out who the experts are yet. But it's kind of very disturbing that even our local shelters are putting out statistics like that, because what I wish I would have remembered to ask him when he told me that was, okay, of these dogs, how many have had DNA testing to prove that they are, in fact, one of the breeds that's considered a pit bull?
Exactly.
Because I think that's something the media overlooks. If it looks like a pit bull, it must be a pit bull,
right.
And so they say it's a pit bull. And the reason why the CDC, the Center for Disease Control and Prevention in this country, stopped publishing dog fatalities by breed in 1998 was because they couldn't rely on what breed of dog it really was. So we need to start talking about, number one, getting the pit bull owning community to be a lot more responsible, and parents to be much more better with teaching their children how to be around dogs. Don't leave your kids unsupervised with dogs. I don't care how much you trust both of them. And we really need to get our arms around this. But statistically, there's over 9 million pit bulls in this country as of 2009. It's probably almost doubled by now. So 200 in a 10-year period. If you look at that, it's really like a drop in the bucket. And it's not acceptable under any conditions.
Yeah, I think one of the other components of that, too, is, also helping law enforcement, get some more training on how to deal with not only animals, but people with animals and whatnot, because it seems like in places where law enforcement does have some training, or they do apply some resources towards that, the statistics are way less in terms of the amount of altercations and whatnot. And I know it's always a question of resources and
right.
desire, but I think how if there's they've got specialized units for they spend all this money to put all these SWAT dudes and all this army gear and all this unnecessary stuff that they're never ever going to use or whatever. I'm like, why don't you take a little portion of your army gear surplus budget and get on staff, require maybe a police a dog trained specialist or animal specialist that you could send out to these places that are supposedly having issues. And
Danny,
you know what I mean? Yeah,
Danny, what makes that even sadder is on the U.S. Department of Justice COPS division, which is Community Oriented Policing Services, where people like us get together with law enforcement and decide how they're going to interact with us, how things can be improved. There is a video series free to anybody, anywhere that wants to go online and get it, that was made by law enforcement, for law enforcement, that shows police officers the correct way to approach a dog, how to identify if a dog is really aggressive or he's just afraid, how to deal with a dog in humane and non-lethal manners. It's free to anybody. I've sent it to many, many police departments. Just say, please, can you just at least, send this around to all your law enforcement guys, all your guys that walk a beat or go out in a car, just so they can at least see it. So the resources thing is kind of a cop-out.
Yeah, I mean, I think maybe it is our responsibility of people in the dog community to push the line and do some of those things, like they say, like, hey, call your senator or call your whatever, but sending out videos,
Right.
maybe it is our responsibility, but it does sound like there should be a little bit of some desire, or at least some on the other side of people willing to say, hey, you know what, if I'm going to hire you for a job and I got to send you to sensitivity training for a myriad of a variety of issues, maybe one of those things should be animal treatment and understanding some of these issues, because
Absolutely.
especially
and
in urban
we need to do a
areas.
show on that subject, by the way, Foster.
Yeah, I'm game. I'm listening.
I'm working on it.
There you go. We'll put it in the mix, Hey,
There you go.
And I want to give a shout out to Paula Archer, because she's under the weather, and we're praying for you, baby. Definitely, get those treatments. Let us know. It's been a tough week on everybody, man. Cheryl, Denise, one thing I want to say, man, is, besides all of the personal stuff that was happening, and I'm really, feeling that I see all these posts. Danny, I know you don't do Facebook a lot, but man, there's so many people reporting serious animal abuse cases. I mean, it's some sick people out here doing a lot of sick stuff, and it kind of depresses me sometimes, man. When we're putting forth all this effort, for Breeder X, and trying to really do something that could change, millions of people's views on animal abuse overnight, and I see constantly, it's got to be 50 a day, right, Cheryl, that people are posting this animal abuse in this state, this animal abuse, and they're putting, up petitions to have this person prosecuted or have the judge do da-da-da-da-da-da. And those petitions, people will send them. I mean, I got to get 50 a day, with this, for the same maybe 10 items. And I don't see that, and they'll have, 10,000 signatures in like 4 days, and I'm saying, what's going on? Don't these people get it? I mean, Cheryl, is it a thing where people think just because they pass that around, they're actually doing something, or don't? Well, I'm trying to figure out, where is the message being lost at? And go ahead.
One of my feelings is the whole online petition thing is a blessing and a curse all at the same time. Mm-hmm. A blessing because when you put together a good petition and you have something that people want to back, sometimes you can actually get a result from it. But the curse is that anybody can go in there and make a petition about anything. And you're right, you see 1 million petitions flying around, all with 1 million signatures. I think the answer, Foster, unfortunately, is because you have a lot of people out there that have an immediate emotional reaction to what has been done to a dog or even a person. And hell yeah, they're going to sign that and send it around because it reaches them and evokes emotions in them of being pissed or upset or sad or whatever. And when it comes to our petition for Breeder X, which we're a third of the way to our goal, by the way, I just checked it a little while ago, which I guess is good news. There's no immediate emotional reaction. There's no real attachment to it. It's just, it's just about a TV show, blah, blah, blah. So I think that's a part of the problem. I don't sign half the petitions that I get because they're not very well written. It's not specific what the petition actually wants to do.
Right. Well, see, the thing for me is some of the petitions floating around are like 2 years old, and if there hasn't been any effect, I'm trying to understand, how do you connect the direct relationship to, helping educate the public about all of these, ongoing, continuous cases of animal abuse and something that can affect change.
Well, there's also, there's so many layers to that issue, or finding out the critical path to that. But one thing is that it's very difficult sometimes because a large portion of the population, regardless of what the issue is, they don't see all these. They see things as like, however many individual cases you present them, they don't do the extrapolation to see that it's indicative of a larger issue, like animal abuse as a larger issue. They kind of see these as compartmentalized pieces of evil or bad or heart-tugging or emotional things, but they're unwilling to extrapolate it and to the point and say, you know what, this is a larger issue. This is a societal problem that is still, continues to snowball and get bigger. And it's like, you can say it in try any kind of method that you want, present it in different mediums, which is what Breeder X is an attempt to do. But I think you deal at its root with people's inability or unwillingness to take all these independent pieces of information and say this is indicative of a larger problem.
Yeah.
Well, when have you ever heard of? I know in this area, but you were saying something about spay or neuter your dog. We don't have in Virginia a set place that, hey, if you have a dog, you need to have it spay or neuter. But why not? Why not have spay and neuter clinics?
Oh, well, that's because
I'm sure they've got to have. It's like they got to have some.
Follow the money.
It used to be that you couldn't sell a dog unless you had a registration to it. Telling people, don't go out there and buy these dogs. You don't know where they're coming from, and then try to do more enforcement of spay and neutering your dog.
Yeah, well, the whole spay and neuter thing, that is definitely a follow the money kind of a situation, hands down. I
don't know how Facebook works, Foster, because I'm not on it or whatever. But I think that at its crux, trying to use the visual medium, using film as a way to try to revamp the discussion or shed some light, I think you're in the right pocket. You know what I'm saying? It's like I always feel like art has a unique capacity, whether it's music, like our guest that we had, Donna and them on last week, or like Lobo that comes in and paints the dogs and for different rescues and stuff, or people that like Lynn that write books. You know what I'm saying? Our thing is film and video. I think using those visual mediums, I think it is a way to kind of get over some of those hurdles. Maybe we just have to dig deeper, and maybe we gotta come with episodes 3 and 4 and 6 or whatever, and go shake some trees. Maybe it's our responsibility. I'm not scared of that. Let's do that.
Well, let's get on it. We have episode 2 actually. You gotta sound it up, and cut it up, because I got the cut. So I just, I'm just trying to keep from, like, a lot of people, Cheryl and Denise, I'm sure you see, online, they just say, I'm burnt out, I'm beat down, and that's the thing that I'm trying to keep off, is just the whole burnout of trying to affect change and this whole separation and just people not getting it. But we got to save some more dogs. Regina, you there?
Yeah, I'm ready to go. And I just want to add one quick thing that Paula taught me is, seeing all the abuse online, every day you got to get up and put on your big girl pants and your big boots and just deal, go forward
Hallelujah,
and try to make
sister.
change. So
Yeah, it is that. I need some of them big girl pants. Cause where you buy those at? Is that Because I tell you, man, when I see this guy dragging the dog behind the car, this
So
guy,
depressing.
burning the dog, this guy, starving the dog to death and keeping the dog frozen on the chain outside, to the wall. I mean, like, my God, So anyway, so let's save some dogs. We'll be Regina. You ready?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
We're going to save a lot of dogs today, I hope.
Okay.
The next dog here, her name is Maybelline. And again, I'm just going to stress the importance of, if anybody's interested in these dogs, go to the Breeder X support page. All the information is also there. Some of these dogs, it's their last day. And I know we don't normally do that, but it's Friday the 13th. I really want to try to get these dogs some help. The dog has not a lot of interest. She's very frightened and she's scared in a California shelter. She's about 2 years old. She's a Pitbull. She's not yet spayed. She's been at Downey Animal Care since February 22nd, and she's now available. Downey Animal Care phone number is 562-940-6898. This next dog, I'm calling it the Scared Dog in Texas. It was an owner's surrender. She's a female gray and white Pitbull Terrier. She's age is unknown. And it says, on her post, it says, this is what happens when you turn a pit bull into a high kill shelter. Your dog doesn't find a new home, and they're not going to be just fine. This poor girl is so terrified she wouldn't even walk back to her kennel, so she had to be carried in a wagon. Please, if you have any interest in this dog, she already has $700 in pledges, which is great. If any rescue can help her out, the phone number to Houston, Texas, County Shelter is 281-999-3191. This next dog really got to me. They're showing a before and after picture, so there's two pictures, one before and one after. I don't know the full extent of the details, but the information, again, is on Breeder X page. This dog is approximately 1 year old, brown and white male. It has shown tendencies to being aggressive because it's very afraid. It's not been tested for heartworms. Weighs about 40 pounds, and he's been at the Orange County Animal Services since Wednesday, March 11th. Looks like he has until March 18th until due date out. Please read the thread on the Breeder X page for more details about what happened to this dog. The number is 407-836-3111, and it's in Orlando County, Florida. This next one is the last post for the day, but we're going to save 200 dogs with this post, I hope. As per orders of Georgia Department of Agriculture, they have to shut down this shelter, and there's 200 dogs there. It's the Dublin Lawrence Humane Society, actually, by March 23rd, 2015, where they will be forced to euthanize the dogs. They need adoption, foster, and rescue to help all of these dogs in dire circumstances. And they need to make some space. They're heartbroken and doing all that they can to prevent this, but they are bound by law to shut the shelter down. If you can help, please contact 478-272-5341. And another thing I just want to add to that is right now, Angels Among Us Pet Rescue is launching a critical care mission to help all of these dogs called the Dublin Dogs. And if you want to contact them directly, you can go to their Facebook page, or their website is angelsrescue.org.
All right. Thank you so much, Regina. Foster, when you get down sometimes, or you're trying to pull your hair out and be like, man, well, I don't get it. I'm just beat down. I'm trying to avoid the burnt out thing. Mm-hmm. I think when you see how Regina gets down, getting there in the trenches, doing what she's doing, and seeing how Cheryl's getting out there and doing the bully walk, regardless of what the weather report says, and you hear Denise and what she's doing out there with her boxers and stuff, that's where you get that inspiration, and you say, hey, man, you know what? I can get up and try it again tomorrow, throw something else up against the wall and see if it sticks. So
we can inspire each other.
It always, we got to lean on each other, and I think that's one of the things that the show, one of the great things about this show is that we're trying to bring everybody together together in a forum where we can all just talk and hang out and do some good with our time, and hopefully it sticks somewhere. You know what I mean?
Well, it's a choice. We can be devastated or we can be motivated. Either way.
Yep. Yep.
That's a good point, Cheryl, because there's lots of days that I just look and I tell myself, just be numb, just keep on going, just keep on going, because you get emotional. Every once in a while, I let myself feel the emotions, and then I just block it out again, and I just keep on sharing and doing what I got to do, because the emotions will hold you back.
I always say who did you ever see have like a biography done on them on like the History Channel or something that didn't go through any trials and tribulations or any struggle? So one day when they do that for you, Foster, you'll have these kind of days to think about.
A lot of my friends on Facebook have unfriended me because they don't want to see the heartache and the animals that are being hurt. And I told them, I say, you know what, I'm not going to take it personal. And please, God has given me the strength to be on the front line. I have my days, but He's given me the strength to do that. We're all at a different level of commitment and ability. So, everybody is doing something, but some of us just are able to do more through God's grace of giving us strength. So thank you, God.
You do your thing, and that's what it's all about. And I think one of the things that also binds us all together is that we're fortunate enough to be able to talk and express exactly what's on our mind and whatnot. But these animals, they can't. You know what I mean? So we have to do that for them. And it's if it's not us, then who? So every little bit that you do.
For Regina, I wouldn't have the two that I have.
Yeah,
I wouldn't have been able to actually understand the breed. I always have to call back and ask her questions if I'm doing it right. Could I be doing something different? I want to take Boo Boo to our local nursing homes because he's such a good dog. He loves everyone, and the nursing homes really don't want him there. We used to do that in my dog club, so I'm still going to work on that because my dog's going to get in that nursing home.
That's right. Well, we've been all around.
Don't give up on that, Denise.
I know. We used to do that all the time. The nursing homes loved us bringing dogs in.
Yeah.
And they were okay, but because I said I had a Pitbull, they weren't real happy about it.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll start that up. Maybe we'll start them out with some Pitbull puppies and work them up to it.
Yep.
Denise?
Yeah.
Denise, you might just ask the administrators to meet you somewhere away from there, just to meet you and meet your dog. That is usually how you win people for pit bulls.
Yeah.
They have to meet one. I know so many people that hated them and met one, and now they have one.
Yeah, I had to do
Everybody
that.
loves Boo Boo too. I will tell you that.
I had to do that getting into my our new place that we're going to be renting. Is like, once we smooth the landlord over with ourselves as people, I said, hey, let me bring these dogs over here so that you can meet them and see how they like to be rubbed on their belly and they're cool and whatnot. And after that, it was a slam dunk. So that sounds like a great suggestion. I think that would be cool. Meet me off site. You know what I'm saying?
There you go.
All right. Well, we got about 2.5 minutes. So anybody got anything they want to share?
I got one thing quick.
Okay.
I just posted on the Breeder X support page a really cool video, instructional video of a postal worker who makes an instructional video for how police should deal with dogs. And it's a great video. He comes across all types of dogs, and he's got great techniques. So if you guys want to check out that video, it's right on the Breeder X page.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. And Cheryl, good luck with your bullet walk in the rain. It should be good.
Hey, it just smells like wet dog. No big deal.
That's right. It's so sad, the whole weather thing. I think it's like 80 degrees here or something like that.
Yeah, we're having one of those down days.
So everybody,
80.
back east, we know and we love you. So thank you, everyone, for tuning in today. And we will see you again next week. And remember, subscribe to Foster's Animal World, keep us on the air. We need your subscriptions. Just
And sign and share the petition.
sign and
Yes.
share the petition, you know, and thank you guys for the words of encouragement, you know, because I'm going to go and shop for some of them big girl pants.
Yeah, I gotta,
I'll send you a pair.
We got,
Yeah.
we got plenty of them.
get y'all up in Shark Tank or something. Let's get some money rolling in.
Yeah, that might make me feel a little special. You know?
Thank you again. It's nice meeting y'all.
All right, thank you so much,
Thanks,
Denise.
Denise.
And you know, so Denise, have you seen Breeder X?
No.
Oh, that's part of the problem. That's right. But that's okay. Go and look at it. Go on YouTube. I'm sure Regina
sure I show
signed
her.
the petition. But go and check it out and then chime in. Let us know what you thought, okay?
And Denise,
I
tell them
will.
really quick before you go where they can get in contact with you. Hit them up with your Facebook or your website or whatever, so they can, if they want some good boxers and stuff out there where you're at.
Well, she don't breed anymore.
Oh, okay.
I don't do it anymore, but I'm a Pitbull owner now.
Okay.
I've spayed and neutered Pitbulls.
All right. And there
He's
you
gone
go.
to the dark side.
All right. Somebody just sent.
We transformed her. That's the whole
Yeah.
reason why we wanted her on. We
There you
transformed
go.
her.
Yeah, Regina, somebody just sent me a text. Show you somebody out there listen. Said they got some pink big girl pants for me. I think I need something more earth tone. But hey, okay, you know the pink
Well,
can be.
Foster, I hope your wife is understanding when you start getting women's panties.
Well, no, but you know I
You know
think.
what? I bet you're going to get a whole bunch in the mail now. That would be funny.
Yeah, well, you know, I think that's that's an undercover thing. You know, you put your big girl pants under your hey man pants. So, see you guys later. Thank you so much. We love you.
Peace, guys.
Goodbye.
All right, bye bye now.
Bye.
I'm a Pitbull, and I approve this message.